In this video, we're going over three things, three practices, ideas that most footballers ignore, but really shouldn't. And it's hurting your game if you're not aware of these things and you are ignoring these things. So we're gonna go over what these things are coming up next. Hi there, welcome to the channel, to Simplysoccer. My name is Dave. If you are new here, where we are creating videos every single week designed to help you improve your game and stand out on the pitch. Now, one thing that's really going to help you do that, a resource I have for you, is my free ebook, Game Changer. This is a 50+ page ebook that is going to help you take your game to that next level. So get that down below for free. Now, without further ado, let's get into some of these things that a lot of players ignore or don't really put enough effort into that are hurting their game by ignoring these things. So we're gonna go in reverse order, starting with number 3. Now I wanna get the obvious one out of the way, but seriously, so many players, they sleep on this idea, they sleep on this area of the game, and it is the mental side of the game. I don't know how many players need to come out and really either directly or indirectly discuss how important the mental side of the game is, how important confidence is, how important determination and having that ability to give your all is, how important it is to recover from setbacks and to bounce back from mistakes. It's just so crucial. You know, you have players like Ronaldo that talks about this so often. You have players like Zlatan that says football is 50% the mentality. And when you're looking at players that are considered mental giants in the game, that are also world class and some of the best of all time, talking about how important this area is, I really believe we should be paying attention if our goal is to become a better footballer. Really, the mental side of the game is so much of the game. Again, you could be the most skillful player on the pitch, but if you don't have confidence, if you're not going to show that ability, if you can't bounce back from the inevitable mistakes and hardships you will go through as you pursue becoming a better player, you're not going to become the best player you can be, and you're not going to be able to show what you can do. I can tell you as an example is there's a massive difference between a confident player who believes in themselves and a player who isn't confident. It's night and day. Even if the confident player is not as good ability-wise as the non-confident player, they will typically perform better and stand out more because of that confidence. And if that is not an example of how important the mental side is, I don't know what is. Now, if you really want to dive into this and get a handle on this, check out my course, Complete Soccer Confidence, which I'll give you a discount for because you're watching through this video and you're here engaging with this video. So I will leave that down below at a discount if you really want some help with this. But if not, make sure you're doing something, because confidence, the mental side of the game, is something you can work on and actually practice as much as you can practice a physical skill. In fact, before we even move on, put in the comments, I am improving the mental side of my game. Remember that, remind yourself of that, and really don't sleep on improving the mental side of the game, because it is so crucial to your development as a player, and it's one of those things that you really need if you want to get to higher levels. Now, number 2 is going to be another overall area, and we'll get a little more specific, but it's developing a body, a physicality, a physique that is football specific. You have to understand that not all physiques are made the same, and there's many different physiques that you can have to be a footballer. But you can't just be, for example, an overly muscular person. You can't just be someone who's not muscular. You know, you can't just be like every gym bro that's in the gym, and you can't be, you know, necessarily the thin, skinny guy as well. There's many very different football specific exercises that have to do with strength, obviously mobility, flexibility, endurance. There's actually a lot. When it comes to football, there's so many different things you need to look at when it comes to your body that it makes it a fairly unique in that way. Now, a lot of other sports have to do that as well, but you need to have the flexibility, the mobility, the recovery. You need to be doing certain things to recover, the speed and agility. There's so much that goes into it, and this is something you really need to get a handle on if you want to tap into your full potential as a player. You know, and again, it's also learning your own body. I think we a lot of times fall into the trap of thinking it's a one size fits all, but you need to learn what's going to be best for your body and what football specific things are going to work for your physique. Because you have players that are incredibly muscular that play at a high level. We can look at players like Adama Traore, for example, and then there are players who are not so muscular like a Neymar, but are still absolute world-class players. So it is finding what is going to be more efficient for your body, because Neymar piling on the pounds probably isn't going to help him, and Traore is certainly doing just fine with the build that he has because they're just different body types naturally. But you want to work with whatever physique you are naturally and make sure you are doing football specific things. So things that are going to make you more and more muscular and just going for that, it's probably not going to help. Things that are going to imbalance your body are just going to make you more susceptible to injury. And one of the things I believe when it comes to your physique as a footballer is you want balance. This is why you see footballers doing certain movements that target actually fairly small muscles. They target stabilizers or stabilizing muscles. They target a bunch of things that some other athletes may not be targeting. But the reason they do this is because they need balance. They don't want to be using just the big muscle groups to compensate for other muscle groups that need to be developed. So you definitely want to do your research and make sure you're doing more than just the standard gym work that a lot of people do, and really start to understand how to build your physique into one that's going to help your development and potential as a footballer specifically, and one that makes sense for the type of body you have. There are other things we could talk about too. Obviously, nutrition. I mentioned recovery, getting enough sleep, doing recovery, doing things like stretching and mobility and things of that nature. You could throw in other things like massage, get a massage gun. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but just make sure you're doing your research, you're finding out what those things are, and you're doing everything you can to develop a body that's going to help you the most as a footballer. So if this video has been valuable for you so far, it resonates with you, please hit that like button and we'll move on to the next one. And number one that a lot of players sleep on, they don't work on deliberately and intentionally, is improving your football IQ. Again, a lot of players make the mistake of looking at certain professionals and going like, well, that player is just smart on. And you want to be making sure that you are deliberately working on your IQ. This involves your decision making. This involves, being able to stay calm under pressure, which helps your decision making. It involves analyzing your own matches, your own games, and learning from your mistakes, analyzing the best players, watching matches, and analyzing what's going on there. Because again, football IQ is something you can work on. It is something you can improve, and it's something not a lot of players think about. Again, you could be the most skillful player in the world, but if you don't make the right decision more times than not, you're not going to really be effective in your matches. Again, you could have the quickest feet, the best skill, even the best shooting ability, but if you're not smart enough to get yourself into the chances to score, it doesn't matter how good your shooting is. If you don't put yourself one-on-one with a player or make the right decision after beating them, then all of that is for naught. So you have to learn how to make better decisions. So deliberately working on your IQ, your decision making, analyzing what you need to analyze to improve your game, looking at your mistakes and fixing them, working more on your strengths as well. You really need to look at your game and try and improve this area as well. All right, guys, so those are three of the bigger areas I find many players ignore. Either they ignore all three of these, which I think is just catastrophic to your growth, or maybe you're just missing one or two, but identify whichever one it is for you and then get to work on that area, because these are big chunks of your game. I mean, there's many little nuanced things within each of these categories, but these are big things that will affect your game massively if you're not working on them. Anyway, I hope that has been valuable to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.